This is Chapter 5, Activity 5-4, Managing File and Folder Attributes. This is Part 2. If you have not already watched Part 1, you need to stop this video and go in and watch Part 1 first. Because in Part 1, we set up the operating system to prepare you so that you can be successful in completing Activity 5-4. In Part 1 of this series of videos on Activity 5-4, Managing File and Folder Attributes, we created or added these hard drives here in a virtual environment. We labeled them Data Volume 1, Data Volume 2, and Data Volume 3, formatted NTFS on these two, and added FAT32 on this one. We also set this one to be E drive, F drive, and G drive. And at this point, we're going to begin the activity, starting with number 1. If it says to start up your computer, click Start buttons to open up the Start menu. Right-click the computer Start menu, and then it says Go to Manage. So we're actually just going to go to this area right here. So I'll show you how you get there. We click on the Start menu, right-click on Computer, and then go to Manage. And that will take us to the location right here. You then want to click on Disk Manager, and it will take you to the Disk Management Console area. And you can see up above here, we have our console area. We have a Data Volume 1, a Data Volume 2, and a Data Volume 3. The first thing we're going to do is click on Data Volume 1, right-click on it, and say Change Drive Letter Paths. And on this one here, we're going to actually tell it to remove that. And it's going to warn us to say that it's not going to always be available. We're going to say that's fine. And now you notice that right here we don't have a volume letter or a assigned letter or a data path letter or a drive letter path, sorry. Now we're going to go back to this again, and we're going to click on here one more time, and we're going to say Change Drive Letter Path, and we're going to say Add, and we're going to change this one to be H now. And click OK. And now you notice that our drive letter is now H and it was E. We're going to do that same thing, that same process to the next one, and we want the volume 2 to be an I. So we're going to go in here and say Change Drive Letter. And we want to change it. We don't have to remove it. We can change it and just go to I. And hit OK, and it's fine. We haven't got anything on that one. Oops, we're going to go down here to the Data Volume 3 and go Change Drive Letter. We're going to change that one, and according to the instructions, they want that one to be a J. So we'll change that to a J and hit OK. Now we're on step 15. Right-click the data volume and format into the pop-up menu. Now, I'm going to talk to you about that because we did that a little earlier. So we're going to push pause and take a look at what we need to do here. So in the earlier video on Part 1, we already have formatted these volumes. So we can pretty much skip the formatting portion of this. Because you've watched Part 1 of this series of videos, you can now skip down to instructions number 23, which says click the Start button and click Computer. So we can actually go out of all of this. We're done here. I didn't realize that was all in the background there, sorry. I'm going to push pause. So I didn't realize those messages were in the back, but I just hit OK on them, and we followed through. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go down here. We're going to click on the Explorer, the Windows Explorer folder, and you'll see our volumes in there: Volume 1, 2, and 3, H, I, and J. Over here in the left pane, we're going to click on the data volume 1 H drive, and then we are going to create a new folder, and we're going to call that folder private documents. We're then going to open up the folder and create a text document in here. And we'll call that budget mistakes. We'll open up that budget mistakes and we'll type in some data here. Here are all my mistakes from this year. And then we do a save and close it. We will now take a look at the properties of our budget mistakes. Oops. So we're going to right click on that and go to properties. We're going to go to security. Oops. General, and then advanced. And under the advanced tab, I want you to notice that the file is already set for archiving. It's checkmarked. Also, they allow this file to have contents indexed in addition to file properties is checked. However, under the compress or encrypted attributes, compressed contents to save disk are not checked, and encrypted contents are not. It's not checked. Go ahead, OK on that one, and OK on this. Let's now look at the attributes of the folder. So we'll go over here and we'll click back to here, or we could have just double clicked on this one to get to our folder. And then we'll right click and we'll go to properties. Notice that the read only is boxed and the hidden is blank. And then we'll go to advanced. And notice that the compressed contents to save disk is clear and the encrypt contents is clear. If we put a checkbox in compressed contents to save the disk space, notice that this one is clear. However, if we go down here and put a checkbox in encrypt contents to secure data, what happens to the one above it? It goes away. So you can only choose one of these. And while following the instructions, we should have a checkbox in the compressed contents to save disk space, and the encrypt data contents, secure data should be cleared. We're now just going to go ahead and click OK off of there, and click OK to close the private documentation properties. And OK to apply changes to this folder and its contents. Changes to this folder, subfolders, and files. Notice how now that we did that the name is now changed to blue. This indicates that the folder is a compressed folder. So double click on the private document. And note that the bridge budget mistakes text file is also blue. Right click on the budget mistakes text file and go to properties. Click on the advanced button and notice that the file is compressed. We'll hit cancel on here, and we'll hit cancel on here. And we're going to go back to our data volume here. We're going to create another folder. We're going to call this one Public Documents. In this folder, we're going to open that one up, double click on it and open it up. We're in the Public Documents, and we'll go ahead and create, well, before we do that, let me back up here. Notice that the color here is is black, because it is not compressed. So let's open up the Public Document folder and create a text document called Holiday Schedule. I'm going to right click in here and go New and Text Document, and we'll call this one Holiday Schedule. Open that up and type in here some random stuff. Here is our. Okay, and we'll save that. And close out of it. Notice that this file right here is uncompressed. Let's take this file and cut it. Let's cut it and paste it into the Private Documents folder. And notice that even though we pasted that file or moved that file into our private folder, into the Private Documents folder, that the actual document itself held its uncompressed state because of its NTFS status, and the fact that it was moved within the same NTFS volume. We're going to now create a new file inside of our Private Documents. We'll call this one Budget Ideas. Notice that this particular file ends up taking on the attributes of the folder and being compressed. This is all we'll complete for part 2 of Activity 5-4, Managing Files and Folder Attributes. When in the next video, we'll start out on number 54, where it says we'll start working on the data volume number 2, or the I drive.